This is a story about a bomb. This is a story about the bomb, which begins with the first nuclear weapon, called Little Boy for its small size. It fired one piece of uranium into another with such force that it released the energy holding the universe together. Nothing's been the same ever since. I know this sounds like a story out of the past, from a world war that grandparents fought in, from a Cold War that ended for college students today literally a lifetime ago. But the story of the bomb isn't over. It's a story about today, and most of all, it's a story about our future. If Little Boy came to, say, Pittsburgh, here's what the city would look like. The inner ring is a fireball half-mile wide, hotter than the surface of the sun. The next is a shock wave destroying almost everything in its path. And the next is a ruin of firestorms and radiation. The outer circle is a killing zone of shrapnel, glass, and debris. From the heavens, it looks just like the devil has ground his cigarette into the face of the land. And on the earth, it's a vision of hell. A conservative estimate of immediate fatalities is 60,000, they're the lucky ones, because more than 100,000 people need urgent care for radiation, burns, and other injuries. But first responders are dead, hospitals are destroyed or fallout zones, so thousands will die in agony. The radioactive fallout contaminates more than 300 square miles, making it unlivable for a generation, but for this generation and the next, the damage is already done. Thousands flee the city and the radioactive cloud spreading from it, as millions flee other cities, as fear consumes the land. Worse, this isn't just an attack on Pittsburgh, it's an attack on the world, because who knows where the bomb came from or where the next one might be. And so everything simply stops. Ships are turned away from port, international travel ends, and the lifeblood of the global economy dries up. And the financial fallout hits people. Every corner of the globe, they suffer. But that's not worst of all. Maybe worst of all is the spiritual fallout, because in a world where entire cities can vanish, terror consumes love, and all the wonderful works that Christians are passionate for, protecting life, fighting for justice, caring for creation, caring for the poor, it's all off the table. Now, you'd be justified in asking, is this really real? There's no limit to the disasters that our imaginations can invent. Nuclear bombs and mutants and giant robots. Is this really going to happen? Here's what you need to understand. Nuclear weapons will be used in our lifetime unless we act. And when or if that happens, the world as we know it will be gone. This is because Little Boy has grown up and become a world traveler. Today there are 9 nations with the bomb, with a global arsenal around 23,000, 95% of it between the US and Russia. Nonpartisan security experts agree we're approaching a tipping point. Either we reverse the spread or we give in to it, watching 9 nuclear powers turn into 16 or more, watching the number of countries that could develop the bomb skyrocket, and then the whole world turns into a standoff out of an old-fashioned Western. And if this happens, nothing, not in real life anyway, will be able to prevent the bomb from being used. Maybe it's by accident, maybe it's in war or terrorists, and the world doesn't end, but it will never be the same, and future generations will have to live with what we failed to present. But there's another story to tell, a story of a world without the bomb, which sounds crazy, right? Idealistic, utopian. It always does the first time you hear about it, until you learn why it's the only solution to the crisis facing us, why it's possible, why the moment is now, until you learn how, together, we can make it happen. Now, a world without the bomb isn't a perfect world. It's not about curing the sinful human heart. It's about taking 3 steps that are necessary and possible to ban nuclear weapons from the earth. 1. Controlling bomb material. 2. Banning testing. 3. Reducing and eliminating arsenals. This isn't like getting rid of guns or drugs. This is a technology we can control. We've come so far already. At the height of the Cold War, there were 70,000 weapons around the world. We're down to a third of that, but we need this generation to get us across the finish line. What's more, this isn't just a story about the bomb. This is a story about transforming the world. This is a story about figuring out how to live together on the same planet. Like right now, the fact that 1 in 10 American light bulbs are powered by dismantled Soviet missiles. This is about figuring out what we can do creatively that's going to let us sustain life on our planet. When most people picture the bomb, this is what they think of: a blazing cloud, an artificial sun, an image larger than life, something totally and utterly inhuman. But when we think of the bomb, we should think smaller. We should think about who it will hurt. These faces and thousands like them vaporized in that cloud, faces precious in the sight of God, faces for which Jesus did not disdain to die. I know this is a lot to take in, so there are 3 key takeaways here. 1. Unless we take action, we're headed for disaster. 2. A nonpartisan consensus of security experts says that a solution is possible. And 3. Christians can be the catalyst, because the world needs the leadership our faith demands. No matter what we do or fail to do, tomorrow is going to come, but we have a say in what it looks like. We can hide our heads in the sand, or we can be part of the solution, and fidelity to the gospel demands our action. So the question to you is this: will you stand with us? There are practical steps you can take right now, so please go to twofuturesproject.org to learn more and join the movement today.